Thank you, Chair. Good morning, all. And thank you for providing the evidence so far. I'm not sure if you have read Mr. Andrew Burke's submission, where he details numerous cases of wage theft in the security industry in Queensland, which led to substantial fines. As a senator for WA, would you provide some context about, what the extent of underpayments are within the WA security industry?
I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't read Andrew Burke's submission. And in terms of the extent in WA,
we've seen one member, but it was not wage theft. That member just wanted granularity on the applicability of the award for cash in transit. And we gave them the guidance. We reviewed a few materials that they were intending on submitting to their officers. And that was the extent of our advice in WA.
Okay, and that precludes that doesn't include the alleged case before the Fair Work Ombudsman?
No, I haven't been spoken to about that particular case. I'm sorry, Senator.
No worries. And just off what Senator Barbara Pocock was asking, many submissions indicate that the security industry uses wage theft as a business model, and I would like to know your opinion on to what extent do you believe that, in their zeal to win contracts, security companies in Australia make offers which preclude the possibility of paying their workers what they're entitled to?
I think going back to Senator Pocock's question before, the industry is heavily regulated. So we have state and territory-based industry regulation. In some jurisdictions, we have labour hire regulation. Obviously, we have the Fair Work Act and other regulatory models. I think there is it's definitely a very competitive market. But we've done campaigns certainly in the past with Fair Work to try and educate. We did one, a local government procurement initiative back in 2016, 2017, which found, I think, 60% non-compliance within local councils. There is, there certainly is a strong environment where the people are not, within the procurement side, are not willing to pay the rates that it should be paid to legitimate companies. So that makes it very difficult for companies to compete. But that's why we provided guidance on. It's difficult. We can't say a price because that's obviously we can't fix what a price is people should pay. But there's certainly there is the award, plus there are on costs that companies have to meet to cover insurances, offering the different services they provide. But again, whilst I agree, it's partly the providers are part of the problem and the solution. But likewise, customers are part of the problem and the solution, and they need to be part of it. And we certainly look to government agencies, federal and state, to lead by example in terms of how they procure security.
And that's my follow-up question. Do you think that the onus and the way government's held to account when they are the procurer, is that up to standard? Is that up to scratch?
Well, I think we could certainly improve things because it's an industry that is growing in demand. So more and more people are using security services, and we're seeing that growth continue. And certainly we have some major international global events coming up in 2032, where we will see a significant workforce that's going to be required for those gains. We need to get this right to make sure that the right people are winning the contracts who are able to deliver that service and absolutely pay their staff as they should be paid.
Absolutely. So just on the introduction of the offence, would you see that as a, performative reform, a change which served to publicly signal the government's opposition to wage theft rather than actually addressing the incidence of wage theft in Australia?
I mean, I think when it comes to certainly the protection services side, there needs to be a cultural shift in terms of, these are people who are doing a valuable job, and they need to be remunerated appropriately. And so the actual whole procurement process and the models that are put in place need to reflect that. I need to make sure there are appropriate checks and balances to make sure people are required to do the right thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just finally, in estimates in February, I discovered through a line of questioning that the Fair Work Ombudsman has not referred a single criminal wage theft matter to the police, despite obviously the investment of almost $50 million over 4 years from the government, which is funding an office of like 16.7 full-time staff to investigate criminal wage theft. Do you believe this is an effective use of taxpayer dollars, or might these funds and investigators be more effective at addressing wage theft if they were deployed elsewhere?
Senator, if I may, if the goal is prevention, not just punishment, then clarity, simplicity and usable systems are just as important as penalties. But it definitely serves a purpose, just not in the majority, but in the minority.
And so would you say that, I don't know, the bill and all this investment is actually filling that education gap and addressing or spreading that awareness?
I think with awareness, there may be a little bit more work to be done. There are a lot of people who, for example, the criminal offence is a significant shift, but its effectiveness will depend on whether it can be applied clearly and consistently in real world, which we've seen at the moment it can't be, and it isn't.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.